Well, good evening YouTube and welcome to another episode of the Albino Rhino Beer Review. Today you have the Rhino and we're looking at a beer from the Big Rig Brewing Company in Ottawa, Ontario, Canada. The Big Rig Brewing Company is owned by Chris the Big Rig Phillips of the Ottawa Senators, well, previously of the Ottawa Senators. Excuse me, this is Tales from the Patch Pumpkin Porter. And for those of you that do not know, I like dark pumpkin beers. I find that the spices and the pumpkin itself really lends themselves to dark beers more so than lighter beers. So I'm really intrigued by this beer. What do we have here? We went to great lengths to bring you this killer autumn treat. Pumpkins were hand-picked by our brew team from the depths of the patch. A cornucopia of spices were added to this beer before roasting, and then the sweet flesh along with creamy milk sugar went into this chocolate-hued porter. It's like homemade pumpkin pie with whipped cream, but better because it's beer. Turn off the lights. This can also glows in the dark. And I am going to assume it is probably the eyes or the moon that glows in the dark. I haven't gotten it to do it yet, but yeah, it's the moon. The moon glows in the dark. And let me tell you, I'll try and do a video one time with it glowing in the dark. But let me tell you, if I was drinking and the can of beer was glowing in the dark, I would probably shit myself, to be honest with you. ABV on this is 5.8, so not that bad. Not that bad. You could drink a bunch of them at 5.8. Ingredients: water, malted barley, oats, pumpkin, hops, lactose, yeast, and spices. It doesn't tell you what spices, but if I had to hazard a guess, about which spices I think would be in this, in no particular order, or any or all of these: cinnamon, allspice, nutmeg, cloves, vanilla. Any or all of those. Any or all. Oats in it is kind of nice. It'll add a nice creamy mouthfeel, but then at the same time, just the beer on its own with pumpkin in it would add a creamy mouthfeel. Lactose. I don't think I've ever had a pumpkin beer with lactose in it. I don't know if you'd actually need lactose. I mean, when you're adding a cornucopia of spices, you don't really, in my opinion, need it in there. And I think all lactose really does is make less people able to enjoy the beer. I mean, there's already the people that can't have anything with malt in it, and now you have all the people that can't process lactose. So that's just me, though. Sometimes it does add to the beer. I'm not saying it never does, but just speaking my mind here. Yeah, that is black. That is beautiful. Right down here at the bottom, it's fully mahogany brown, but everything else is just black. Head, nice mocha head. Ooh, that's a snap, crackle, pop. I don't know if the camera can pick it up. Oh, this can art is the best can art I've ever seen for a Big Rig product yet. I want to get their milk stout, too. It's not available here. I can smell from here. I can't really tell what I'm smelling, but I smell something from here. Kind of gets cinnamon. Let's give it a sniff. Wow. Wow. If I had to rate this just off the smell, I would give this a 10 out of 10. Unfortunately, you do have to taste it too. Oh. Oh my lord. Oh my lord. To the entire brew team at Big Rig, this smells divine. To Chris Phillips, you owe me a cup from when I got angry and smashed a cup. All to about you. Actually, you know what? You need to come down in the basement and talk beer with me. You never will, but you need to. Come down to Niagara Falls. We'll get drunk. It smells amazing. vanilla, cinnamon, allspice, ginger. The lactose is just popping on this as well. I'm not picking up cloves or nutmeg, which I'm okay with. I'm actually okay with that. Really, this does smell like pumpkin pie in a glass. Other than the more abundantly sweet than usual smell this is giving off, this kind of reminds me of the first time I had pumpkin. When I first smelt the first pumpkin I ever had, I nearly creamed my pants. And at this point in time, this beer almost makes me do the same thing. It just smells divine. I gotta try it. Cheers, let's just get into it. This is medium-bodied, very silky. Both the oats and the pumpkin do their job. They give a little bit more heft to the beer, and they make it nice and silky and smooth and velvety almost in your mouth. It is almost like you took an entire scoop of whipping cream and ate it. The lactose sweetness is there. It just helps with that whipping cream taste. Vanilla, lactose, cinnamon, and ginger are the forefront of this beer. Really does remind me of pumpkin pie. The only difference really between this and say Pumpkin to me, and Pumpkin is like a 9.75 out of 10, at least the original was. I haven't had this year's version, so I don't know for sure how I feel about it. But the only difference between this and that, in my opinion at least, is that has like all of these flavors plus like a graham cookie, a graham cracker crust. This is just the filling. This is like your grandmother was making a pumpkin pie and you saw the bowl of filling and you just took it and you ran to your room and you were just shoveling it spoonful after spoonful into your mouth. Is there flavors that are overpowering on this? Sure, you get a lot more vanilla and a lot more lactose sweetness, like milk stout sweetness, than you would normally get on a lot of things, which makes it have a lot more of a like whipped cream taste. Then the cinnamon and the ginger come in. Pumpkin, you don't taste pumpkin, but pumpkin isn't the most, well, at least I don't taste pumpkin. But pumpkin isn't the most flavorful thing. Pumpkin is more a mouthfeel in the beer and a scent in the beer than anything else. Usually it'll add like a little bit of earthiness and a tiny touch of sweetness. And I mean, you could be tasting that. That sweetness could be in there because this is very sweet. I'm turning Italian even though I'm Irish. Like, look at me go. Look at me go. My hands. I'm doing it on purpose now, but up until this point, it was just what was happening. Yeah, I talk with my hands. Ooh. The ginger is there. It almost has an almost like a fruit juice taste at the very back end. With everything mixing together, it's just this really sweet. I guess fruit juice is probably the wrong word for it. I've had something, and it just reminding me of fruit juice. I don't know what it is, but I've had something that tastes exactly like what the back end of this is. There is a little touch of an earthy bitterness that does remind you you're drinking beer, but for the most part, it is full-on pumpkin pie filling, and something else that I can't quite put my finger on. So, smell is divine, mouthfeel is divine, taste, not as great as I thought it was going to be, but still damn good. Ooh, that's what it is. So mixing with that lactose, that cinnamon, that ginger, and that vanilla is a touch of nutmeg, and that's what it is. It was just this roundabout way. It was this little drying, slightly bitter but very sweet taste at the very end that was weirding me out. It's not bad. It's just it wasn't something I expected. And then the lactose sweetness lasts the whole way through. This is a great little beer. In all honesty, this is probably one of the best beers I've had in a while. Out of 10 on the beer? Fuck, I don't know. 9.25. Yeah, 9.25. It is worth more than a 9. It's not worth a pumpkin or a warlock, but in the pumpkin beer spectrum for me, I really like it because it just tastes like pumpkin pie filling. You find a way, Lon and everybody else over there at Big Rig, if you find a way to get that like graham cracker crust into this, you have a fucking gold mine, because you'll be one of the only breweries in Canada that can compete with Southern Tier and Elysian for pumpkin beers. So figure that one out. Figure that one out. You know what? Actually, let's brew together. Let's figure it out together. No, you'll never brew with me. You don't care about me. I'm a nobody. I'm a nobody in a basement. I'm a drunk albino in a basement. These my festivals all for charity, right? 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 Okay, thank you guys for watching. Have a wonderful evening. I bought 4 of these cans. I'm going to send 2 of them away, and I'm going to share one with the in-laws for a Thanksgiving weekend. And that's the way it's going to be. Cheers. And goodbye.